Okay, so this video is on titrating an emotion or feeling it all the way through. And you're going to be able to kind of access this however is needed at the time. And they say that really to feel an emotion all the way through only takes 90 seconds. And what happens in the way we live our lives in the modern world is that often we are suppressing and avoiding and not feeling our emotions all the way through in a way that is helpful. So, anxiety, um, anxiety especially, is often a bunch of unfelt emotions that are under the surface that we really might not be super aware of. We might not be able to parse them out or identify them, but that build up is really often what causes this static, this electricity. It can also cause depression, um, and just these stagnant states or these activated states can often be brought on by not feeling things, not moving through them in a way. Like emotions are these beautiful indicators. And it's this fine line of experiencing them, letting them be, and not taking them all the time as the ultimate truth, right? It's this very fine balance and dance of learning through our emotions. They are beautiful things showing us something. And being able to feel them is really important. And learning to do that because we're weirdly not taught to feel our way through an emotional wave or an emotional cycle that can bring us to something else, that brings us to the next emotion, the next experience. It's supposed to be a constantly evolving, fluid thing. We don't want them stuck in the body, we don't want them stuck in the psyche, right? Often thoughts create a certain emotion, and we're often in a cycle, a thought cycle, a rumination, something that's kind of aggravating and spinning. And then our emotions are reacting to that thought cycle. So that's another thing, is that we want to kind of like isolate the emotion and the experience without continuing it with our thoughts. So this is a practice of just feeling our way through an emotion. And I'm using the word titration because it is coming into the emotion and then backing off. And knowing that you are in control, that you get to decide how this experience goes, and that there's nothing in your body, in your field, in your experience that you don't have the capacity to hold and to feel and to move through. And you always can pump the brakes, you always can stop, you always can say, okay, that's enough. And it's just learning to tap into this subtle energy that is feeling and pumping the brakes and letting it come in and letting it go. So you can use this practice and this exercise. You can use it for something that's specifically coming up that you want to work with and that you want to feel into. And you also can just do it and see what comes up. See if there's anything that surfaces that wants to be felt, and just use it as a curiosity to come into the emotional body, the heart space, and work in that realm. I'm going to kind of like name a certain emotion that I'll use as an example that I'm going to be working through in leading you through this exercise. But name whatever is coming up for you. So I'm going to work with despair. That's just what came to me, and that's an emotion that I often come up against myself, this feeling of despair, like just at the end of my rope. Also, it's helpful to really articulate to yourself what an emotion feels like because you might be experiencing, say, um, annoyance or frustration or something like that, but what's under it might be something deeper. And that's why we also have the limiting belief exercise to kind of get to the root of the thing. You can also use this as an exercise in tandem with that. If you are working with a limiting belief and you get to that root emotion, you can take that emotion through this exercise and practice feeling it. So, we're going to work with despair. And despair to me is like super defeated at the end of your rope, like down in a dark tunnel, not seeing a way out. And articulating what that emotion feels like to you is really important too, because we all have sort of different ways that we interpret the words of an emotion or maybe even the experience or feeling of an emotion. So just kind of tap into whatever emotion is present for you. And you could do this for more of the upper range of emotions. But really, when we're doing this processing, it's because we're trying to feel, emotions that might be lower on the scale, that might be more challenging to be with. So tapping into what is present, what's there, and maybe naming it out loud. Despair, sadness, fear, heartbreak, loss, grief, whatever is there for you, whatever you want to work with today and feel. And then maybe out loud articulate what that feels like to you. And you can just say, despair feels like I'm at the end of a rope. I am down in a tunnel. I don't know which way to go. I don't see the light. I don't feel connected to the light. And as you're saying this, if things are arising in your body, allow them to come up. You want to safely and consciously move ourselves through the experience of feeling difficult emotions. So maybe tears come. Maybe our body starts pumping on the brakes and we're like, no, 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 not that thing. I'm not going there. And that's okay. And if you don't want to go there, you never need to. And if we do want to go there and we do want to process this, just see if you can allow a little bit in. See if you can open your heart and know that you can handle big experiences and still be okay. So, this also teaches our mind and our body that it's okay to feel big things. So, after you articulate whatever that emotion feels like, keep going with it. Let it come in, let it come into your sense, into your body. Let your heart open to the experience, even if it's painful. And just see if you can feel your way through it. Feel into it first. Lean in. This is a process of leaning in. You can use your breath to signal to your body it's okay. You might be holding your breath. You can also put your hands on your heart for safety. You can hug yourself and just see if you can let that emotion just fill your being and see actually where that emotion might be sitting in your body. Where does despair live? And it might be a few places, right? We normally feel things in the central cavity of our body. That's where the chakras are. It's where our energy centers live. So just really notice where the center of that is, where that despair lives. Is it in your heart? Is it in your lower belly, your solar plexus, your throat? Noticing that place and bringing the mind to that place and breathing into it. And breathing into it, not to change it, but rather to allow it. Let it open up, let it kind of come in and consume you. And if you get to a point where it's too much or it's enough and you just want to pump the brakes, just pull back, right? It's okay to close that door a little bit, right? We're used to that door being closed. And what we want to do is cultivate the ability to open and close the door more fluidly so that we can process the emotion and the feeling. And maybe you need the time for this to come in and overwhelm you and just like really feel into it. Maybe there's something really big there and you're ready to feel it. You want to cry or process or scream or, get a pillow, punch a pillow, get angry, really like let it out. That's okay too. If you want to have that experience, sometimes we need a big experience to move energy. And also, sometimes we just want to feel a little bit of the emotion at a time so that it's manageable and so that we can process it in small bites. And we don't always have to process everything in a big way. And we can process it in a big way. But this is, as I said, about titrating that emotion as a way of processing it, as a way of feeling our way through from one side to the other. So bring that in. Come into the body again. Find the place where that emotion is living. And maybe say out loud again, like what that feels like for you. It feels like defeat. It feels like there's no way forward. It feels like it's never going to work out. And we're not judging the experience. We're really allowing the experience. We're not necessarily taking it as ultimate truth. We're taking it as something that the body needs to process. And feeling that sensation come up. Breathing into it, allowing it, seeing if you can soften toward it. Leaning in by really just softening, really just opening to whatever is there and really trusting your own capacity to experience it and be okay. And maybe it doesn't feel okay right now. The more that we are able to feel our way through a feeling, the less it will have a grip on us. Because when we process something and bring it up and lean in, often you internally kind of look around and you're like, wait, where is it? Because it moves and it changes. And then we can become more and more free. So see where you're at. If you need to pull back, close the door a little bit. Or if you're more comfortable, you start to build a muscle to lean into that experience. Lean into the discomfort and teach your mind and your body that you actually can feel it all the way. Lean into the heartbreak. Lean into the despair. Lean into the frustration. Allow it to move over you like a wave. Opening to what's there. Leaning into it through softening, right? Just somatically imagining with your body, opening to that place, letting it totally fill you as much as you can, and knowing that you can say, okay, that's enough, and pull back whenever you're ready, whenever you need to. And so you're leaning in and pulling back and strengthening this muscle of feeling all the way through. So come into what's present, finding the remnants of it. Maybe it's shifting and moving and it's not really there anymore. That's okay. See if you can find those remnants of that feeling and gathering those remnants of despair. I'm connecting to the places that I feel it in my body. I'm opening to that experience. I'm leaning into it. I'm softening into it. I'm allowing it to feel like a wave overwhelming me. Breathing, being with the sensation, inviting it in, inviting it in, feeling it all the way through. Opening more, trusting your capacity more, knowing that you can hold your own hand through this. Opening, being with it. Beautiful. And you can come out a little bit, take a little break, close the door a little if that feels good. And then one more time, leaning in, opening to what's there, to the heartbreak, to the anger, the frustration, the fear, letting it come over you, softening your resistance, softening your walls, opening the door, letting it flood your body, letting it flood through you. opening, relaxing, softening toward this experience, toward this sensation. Noticing what's coming up. Noticing that you can open and close this gate, that you are able to regulate, you're able to be there with yourself, you're able to step forward and step back. Take a deep breath, allowing anything else that needs to be felt to come up, stepping into anything that's there. Opening, closing. And then come back to center, come back to your breath. Allow those gates to energetically close, or allow them to stay open if that feels good. But coming back into center, back into regulation, especially if you had a big experience, putting a hand on your heart, maybe your belly, inhaling and exhaling. Coming into yourself, knowing that you have the capacity to feel big things and survive, right? We think that sometimes if we feel big emotions, we'll get stuck in them, they'll be overwhelming, they'll kill us. And it's not necessarily true at all. We can feel big things in small doses and move them through our body, and we can hold ourselves through a big experience, through big heartbreak, through anger, through frustration, through anything that's coming up. You really have the capacity to feel it all. So take a deep breath and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And inhale and exhale. Maybe you want to say a little message to yourself like, thank you for hearing that. Thank you for your capacity to be with that. Thank you for guiding me through. Thank you for being with me through this. Anything that feels like you want to say. Beautiful. And you can use this anytime that you want to feel your way through an emotion. It's really helpful if you are feeling anxiety, if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling like that sadness or that grief or something is like pushing on your psyche because it wants to be felt. Come back to this and feel it. Allow it to move through because it creates space. It creates that ability to move it, to experience it. Our emotions really just want to be felt all the way through. And then often they shift, they dissipate, they change. They're no longer stuck and stagnant and putting us on this wheel. Okay. Thank you. Be gentle with yourself. Care for yourself after that. Maybe take a walk or lay down or have a tea or some nourishing food. Drink some water. Really tend to yourself after that experience.